Okay, our next question asks, helping a global bank implement local training actions from a global curriculum. The localization is indeed an important hurdle. We can only get it right after the content is translated and reviewed by an SME and then checked for local practices and policies. What are your suggestions here?
Well, I think the key point there that this person is already doing some things right is making sure that the local SME or subject matter expert is in fact buying into what they're trying to do. Again, if you've got the key message you're trying to get across or the key lesson elements, making sure that not just the words are correct but the meaning is correct, that will go a long way towards it. Anybody else have any thoughts on this pretty specific example?
Yeah, I'll just add in there, Sean. I think that process is correct, the process that this person is using, and we confront this quite a bit where we actually have to translate materials and so on before they can be reviewed by somebody who is a subject matter expert in the country itself. So that just becomes an iterative process. You start out with what you think might be a good translation or close to it, but it's imperfect. That has to be reviewed by the SME within the country and then just edited from there. And then that's a good process because you'll be more certain that you are communicating the actual meaning that you want to communicate within that culture.
And I'll add to that a little bit, Casey. When you're not able to use that SME up front, you're clearly at a disadvantage to a degree. One of the tactics that you can use to help overcome that is by making sure that you provide enough surrounding information around that meaning of that content. You'll find that providing glossaries, providing additional background reading types of things, providing additional content. A lot of times that's the approach that we'll have to take. A lot of times we will end up having to do content translations before SMEs are involved. And our practical experience tells us the better off we are. We're much better off, I guess I should say, when we educate those translators, if they're not SMEs, to get them as close to SMEs as we can before the actual SMEs get the opportunity to review the content. So that'd be one suggestion I might offer.
All right, our next question asks, what has TRACOM found in terms of social style or behavior differences among different cultures? Does native language affect style or behavior?
I'll take a shot at that, Sean. Native language doesn't necessarily affect it, but certainly culture does. And we do find differences, and for that reason on our assessment instruments, we create norms for different countries and different cultures and regions throughout the world. So an example of that, even limited to Asia, would be differences between China and Japan, where, for example, the Chinese, at least on average, we find very much more assertive, more talkative, different in that behavior from the Japanese, who are actually quite the opposite of that. So that's just one small example, but certainly those behavioral differences do exist across cultures.
Okay, our next question asks, should a person modify their behavior when working with people from different countries or cultures?
Casey, I'll take a stab at this one. If you think about it, one of the core programs that TRACOM offers out to the market is a product called Social Style, which is all about interpersonal effectiveness. We'd make the argument that any time that you're interacting with another person, you need to take account of your own preferred behaviors, their own preferred behaviors, and finding a way that you're able to work best with that person, taking into account their preferred behaviors. That very same concept certainly occurs when you cross different country boundary lines. In fact, different cultural boundaries, and may in fact become more important. As you take a look and you think about the nuances of different cultures, that it becomes very important that you take into account as many things as you can so that you don't let those cultural barriers get in the way of your productivity, which of course can happen when communication somehow goes awry. Casey, anything to add to that? John?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think that's a good summary. I think that it's important not only for your own individual behavior, but just to be very aware, or as aware as you can be, about the cultural nuances of whatever country that you're working in. Some countries are more individualistic, like the U.S. and the U.K. Other countries are more collectivistic, like Colombia and Japan, for example. So it's very important to be aware of those when working cross-culturally.
I see that we are running short of time here. Daniel's probably going to cut us off shortly, and there are a lot of questions in the queue that we've not been able to get to. We will follow up with anybody that had a specific question and try and get you some appropriate answers to that as well, and appreciate all these great questions. On Monday, we will be sending out an email to all the participants, 300-plus participants today, that will have links to more information on these topics as well as some of the research that was cited earlier, and would be thrilled to talk with you about the challenges that you're facing in your global training and share our own experiences with that. And we really appreciate Chief Learning Officer for hosting this platform for TRACOM to share what we've learned and also learn from you as well.
Again, thank you, David, Casey, and Sean, and special thank you to the folks at TRACOM Group for sponsoring this event. But mostly thanks to all of you in the audience for your participation today. Thanks once more to our attendees around the world. Have a great day.